Hey there, crafty friends. It's Diane, the Creative Inkster. Today is Monday, October 3rd, 2022. Happy October! Happy fall. This is one of my favorite crafting seasons of the year, even more so than Christmas. It's the colors, they're beautiful, they're deep, they're rich, and they're fun. So welcome. If you're watching live, please let me know that you're here. Leave me a comment. I love to connect with you. And if you're watching the replay, I like to also know who's been here and get your thoughts on how this one went. Here is the card we're going to be duplicating today with some other supplies. This layout is one that I did for my team this month. So every month from the middle of one month to the middle of the next, I post a challenge for my team members. And I give them not usually a bunch of layouts. Sometimes it's a product or colors, or it could be an anything goes or a theme. And so I go ahead and challenge them to come up with some cards. Now, this one is actually a layout challenge. So the pieces I posted are the ones we're working with. It's your standard card base. I think I wrote 11 by 4 1/4, but that's the same size basic cardstock as if you cut it this way. So either or works. So this one was half a sheet cut the other way, so it was 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then we've got some layers. The first one is 5 1/4 long by 2 1/2 wide, or 2 1/4, whatever you want. One is 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. That's this one here. And then the smaller one is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. Basically, just making 3 layers that kind of overlap a wee bit and fit together on the page. And then we've got a nice little greeting and some kind of embellishment for your card. So I'm going to play with a couple of different other types of products, but basically coming up with the same layout. So here we go. Here is my 11 by 4 1/4. It's Mossy Meadow. I'm going to fold it in half here. I scored it at 5 1/2, which is the halfway point. And fold it in half. You can also put another layer on the front if you want, but as I always do with dark cardstock, is I put a layer on the inside. Hi, Brenda. And here in white or vanilla, depending on what color scheme I'm working with. And that way I've got something on the inside already. I don't do a lot of stamping on the inside of my cards. Sometimes. But usually I make sure at least I have the white on the inside. So there's my card base ready to build on. So here is my first piece, which is 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. I cut that just, oh yeah, it might be a hair longer this time. And so there's 2 sides to paper. I'm going to show you this rustic harvest paper in 2 ways. We're going to do with the pattern colors on one side, and we're going to do similar black and white patterns on the other card. So let's see how we can double duty our paper. I'd say this is probably my favorite paper pack in this mini catalog. I love these beautiful rich colors for fall. Plus, I would definitely use them all year round, maybe even the pumpkins. Here we go. So you put the long strip first, is how I did my card. And then on my sample, you'll see that I did the next longest one to the right a little bit, overlapping them. So let's do that. And we'll get that there. Now I want to point out that this is Rustic Harvest from the mini catalog. We have lots of other beautiful pattern papers in our annual catalog. And tomorrow, for one day only, it's free shipping. So if you have an order, it's a minimum $100 to ship to you. But if you are in Canada and you want to pick up in Guelph, you can go ahead and send me your order. You'll get free shipping, and you can pick it up from me. So it's a great time to stock up on the basics, your paper, your ribbons, you know, anything you want that way. And if you want to place a little bit larger order, why, there's another option going on. Starting tomorrow, there is a starter kit promotion. So you can get a really awesome deal. I just want to think here. I want this to go on here. Tomorrow, the starter kit is always $135, but normally you get $165 worth of product with it. Right now, for October 4th to the 31st, you get 206. I don't know why they come up with that rather odd number, but $206 worth of product for $135. So basically, that's a savings of $125. Why would you not get in on that? Let me know. There's no requirement to hold classes or run events. You can be a happy hobby demonstrator and purchase for yourself, saving 20% on everything after that. Or you can give me your 20% and still be my customer. I'm happy either way, but I definitely want you to know about the deal because that is a great savings, and friends share information about deals, right? So there you go. So that's October 4th to the 31st. So many other things. You'll have to check my blog or my posts on Facebook for some of the other great deals that are coming along here. All right, so we've cut that out, and I kept that piece in case I needed it. This is just a little die cut with happy anniversary. So when I'm going to put this on a layer that's raised, like the pumpkins are raised up with dimensionals, I'll put some liquid glue on one side and just dimensional on the right. That way this ends up being even. Otherwise, if I put dimensionals on both, it's going to be a little higher on the left. So we want to just put the dimensional just on the right. You save a little bit too. Put a little bit of glue on the left. And Bob's your uncle. There you go. Awesome. What is everyone doing for Thanksgiving? Are you having family Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving? Is that what it's called? Where you get together with your friends for Thanksgiving? Are you going to just have some nice quiet time at home with a family member or by yourself? Or your favorite pet? What is your plan? We are, in our family, going to get together with a larger family extension that we haven't all seen each other since my daughter's wedding 3 years ago, and are excited because there are 2 new members to this group. My daughter's had a baby, and my cousin's daughter-in-law has had a baby. So we have 2 little people to enjoy who are about 3 months old, and that's going to be fun. And then my kids, one of my other cousins has little ones that are no longer so little, and that my kids probably don't remember that well meeting many years ago. So it's going to be a really fun get together. That's our Saturday. And then we'll have some time at home and relax and enjoy the rest of the weekend. All righty. So these, if you've never seen them before, are the Brush Metallic Adhesive Back Dots. They have beautiful, beautiful colors for fall particularly. So this is, I'm going to use this one because it looks like Mossy Meadow. And it's just perfect for this. Let's see, where should we put this? Maybe here, and a large one. I've kind of gotten away from putting too many embellishments on the cards, and partially because when they go through the mail, sometimes these poke out. These are flat edged, so they don't poke quite as much, but I'll save those for the projects that I'm giving away and hand giving away. All right, happy anniversary. That's this card. So it's all the same basic pieces as the one on the left, but laid out just a little bit differently with some other colors. Let's do another one. I had said we would do one with the black and white patterns. So once again, from Rustic Harvest, we have these beautiful pumpkin, etc. patterns, but I wanted to use the back side of them, which are black and whites, and I'm going to fix one up a little bit. We're going to change one up just a little bit. So this is Cajun Craze. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 and fold it in the middle. There's my inside piece. I suppose I could make all of my card bases white and then I wouldn't need to worry about an inside, would I? But I have to tell you, just plain white card bases are not really my style. I like a nice thick pattern color as my, colored cardstock as my base. All right, so this one with the stripes on it, I know it bothers me so much to cover up this beautiful paper, but we've got to show the different colors too. And then I've got this black and white pattern, which is a bunch of leaves, which will go here. And then the third piece can go here, but we're going to add something to this. We are going to color it in a little bit. Where are my, here they are, watercolor pencils. All right, let's get started. Let's glue the piece down first. Have you ever thought of coloring your black and white paper? Because pattern paper, I love having black and white paper because I find it's very versatile for whatever I want to do. And then being able to add color and depth to it is fun as well. Here we go. I bet everybody's away tonight planning their order because tomorrow is free shipping day and you want to take advantage of that if you can. Get those few things that you really want. All right, so these are leaves. So are we going to go with leafy colors? I hadn't really thought this through. This is garden green. Why don't we add another leafy color to it? That's going to go with our Cajun Craze. We actually have a Cajun Craze one. Let's see how that turns out. We'll just color our leaves in. So you can use lots of different ways to color your black and white paper. And typically you can go outside the lines as well because the black in there is going to hide any of the extra that comes over the lines. I'm just using this scratch paper underneath to keep going here. Let's see, we'll do this one. So I'm just doing 2 different colors. I guess I could do 3. Let's see how this turns out. But these are our watercolor pencils. And don't worry, I'm not just going to leave them plain like this. We're going to add something to take those lines away so that it's not all streaky. Let's see, we're going to make this nice big one green. I think I want to add another color. This isn't quite as dark as I was thinking, but that's okay. You know how leaves are at this time of year. Some of them have changed and some of them have not. And so we get a nice variety both on the ground as they're falling and still on the trees. There's nothing to me like walking down the street with the very blue sky and the sun streaming down and giving us this gorgeous fall color. Let's see, what else should we add? We'll add a yellow. I think there's a crushed curry in here. So let's add this color. It's more of a mustardy yellow color, not your bright, but a nice color for autumn. So you can use these pencils. You could use our pastels, which are chalks, or you could even use, you could sponge them or use a sponge dauber or a blending brush. Lots of mediums for adding color to your pattern paper. This is an easy one because I find that I have lots of black. But this one here, this pattern here, I wouldn't get quite as much out of it because there's a lot of black color in there. This one allows me to add some color around it here a little bit. Do you notice that some of the trees in your neighborhood, that the leaves drop sooner? I notice on my walk around the streets around me that this one type of tree, I don't know the name of it, it's late to get its flowers. I'm sorry, its leaves in like the spring, and yet it is one of the first to drop its leaves in the fall. Very interesting. to note. I'll do this one too. And then we've got two more. What else have I got in my palette here that could just add a little spark of color? There's kind of an indigo grape. Is that's, oh, wait a minute, here we go. Cherry cobbler, perfect. This is our pack of pencils, rather, that is collection number 2. We have 2 of them. One of them is sort of our 12 basic colors, and then we came out with some of our other colors. And so this is a pack of 4, 6, 7, 8. I think there's 17. I don't know what the rest of my colors have gotten to. Sometimes I put them all in the same box, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, 10 colors in here in colored assortment number 2. And then I have a blending brush, not at the ready. Hang on a second. I will grab one. Must have taken it out and put it somewhere else. Okay, so we have these blending brushes that are, blender pens rather, that are a set of 3. You can blend chalks and such with them. They're clear. When you color with them, they're clear, so they kind of give you an ink pad or a coloring tool for every color. So you can use them with chalks, you can use them with these watercolor pencils. There are techniques for using them when you're doing, using them with inks and the like. Lots of ways that you can take your colors. So what has happened is I've used my pencil, which has left some sort of odd coloring lines. So this is what this one looks like here. Now I'm going to add the blender pen over top of it with the clear liquid that comes out of it. And you'll see how it smooths out the shading quite nicely. Smooths it right out. Now I can add more color to it as well if I want to afterwards. I'm just kind of give it a second to dry and then go back in and add more color if the depth of color isn't enough. Now once you're done doing one color, you can wipe off your blender pen just by going on some scratch paper and wiping it, and then you go into the next color. So you just want to change that in between, otherwise you might end up with a mixture of colors on your paper. So I'm going to do all the greens next. These are a great tool. I have had the same 2 sets of them for a decade. They really do last, and I use them in my classes as well. Not so much in the last 2 years in person, but for years taking them to classes. Kind of a fun little tool to play around with. So it's taking a little time to get through. But if you don't like to do a lot of coloring, but you like the look of watercolor, this is a simple way to do it. All right, so there's the greens and the yellows done. Now I'm going to go and do the cherry cobbler, which should be quite quick for the 2 on these 2 cherry cobbler leaves. Oops, wipe it off, and then we'll do the Cajun craze. I wonder now whether I actually cleaned it off between the green and the cherry cobbler. I may not have. That's okay. Cherry cobbler's a nice dark color, so it will absorb it just fine. All right. And another one here. There we go. So that's my coloring done. It looks completely different than the original that this came with. But now we're going to add up this pop of color right on here. I might even have bordered this or matted it with another piece of cardstock just to make it pop that little bit more, maybe even black. But Didn't have it at the handy, so we're just going to do this. All right, and then we've got another tag. This one's going to be, oh, I chose Happy Anniversary last time. So the stamp set I'm going with here is called Ringed with Nature. I'm going to do this one as a Get Well Soon. Get that out the way. And this is a newer stamp set in the fall, July to December mini catalog. We'll grab some Cajun Craze for a pop of color. Don't have my buddy in the stamp room with me today. Poor Riley has gotten vestibular disorder, which is basically vertigo. And so he is suffering a little bit with that. We got him some medication, and hopefully he'll be feeling a little bit better in a day or two, and then getting even better by the end of the week. That's our hope. It's tough seeing your little ones not feeling their best. You always want them to be there having fun and bouncing around with you. So he's taking it easy. And it's pretty exhausting because they're not like us where you can, when you have vertigo, and I have vertigo and get vertigo, so I know what it's like, where you can learn to kind of go with the dizziness and reposition yourself. He can't quite do that, so his eyes are constantly on the move, trying to help him find a better position and deal with it. And so, yeah, I can feel a little sorry for him. All right, these are the 2123 Opal Rounds. They're the in colors. And I find that the one that is pale papaya can actually look a little bit like yellow or crushed curry. So I'm going to add this one on here. I guess it's just the way that it's cut, kind of like diamonds and such, how they have just a little bit different looks sometimes when you put them with other colors. So we'll just add, what do we do? Maybe we'll put one here and one here. There we go. That's our Get Well Soon. So again, on the same paper, but the other side of it, and colored up, and the same layout. Love, love, love this. It's a nice, easy layout. Okay, I've got time to do one more. Let's pop those away. And this one's going to be with this beautiful Splendid Day paper. Another paper pack from the July to December mini. So here's my card base. I see that I cut them all at 8.5 by 5.5. Totally fine. I have a piece I could put on the inside. Not sure that I'm going to need it. And these are all beautiful foil papers. So look at how gorgeous that is. Beautiful and shiny. Beautiful, beautiful paper. So the pack, it comes with patterns of foil, and then on the back it has several different colors. This is soft sea foam, fresh freesia, and I believe this is Sahara sand. But tonight's project is all about the foils. Trying to think now, do I have anybody to send an anniversary card to? I feel like the next one, don't send as many anniversary cards. I don't attend that many weddings or have attended that many weddings. But my daughter and son-in-law's anniversary is next month. And so what happened on this foil piece was somehow I must have scratched it, so there's a little mark on it. I'm just going to end up having that land so that I can cover it up. Here we go. These are a rose, well, it's fresh freesia, but a goldy, a rosish colored foil. This one's more of a champagne color, and this is silver. See how that's just going to cover that right up? No, we're not going to pop it. We're just going to glue it down. Glue this one down. Now remember, when you use foils, you want to make sure that you place your piece well the first time if you're covering up any foils, otherwise your adhesive is going to peek through and it's not as easy to get it off. We have also with this suite of products, we have some of these embellishments called open leaf trinkets. They're quite heavy. You need a couple of glue dots to place them. I think I'll use one on this one. I haven't used enough of them. So let's get our greeting stamped in. What color did I grab? Crushed curry? That does not seem kosher or the right color I want to go with. I think I'll just go with black. There we go. And we are going to use, where'd the stamp set go? There it is. We're going to do this as a get well soon card. And we'll do this one in black, just for a standard sort of color. There we go. Kind of a neutral, doesn't take away from the other colors. And we're going to put one of these very pretty embellishments on it at the back, I think. So I'll put a couple of glue dots here onto this embellishment. It has a hole in it, so you could tie a ribbon through it or some twine through it. I'm going to put a couple of embellishments on the back, help hold that in place. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals along here, and that'll give this all a little bit more stability. One thing you can also do is take regular Scotch tape, or I'm going to take a little piece of Terran tape, and I'm just going to stick this over my embellishment here. It's heavy, and I want to make sure it stays in place. No one's going to see that. That all happens on the back. We'll put a little embellishment, another dimensional rather here. Just a little segment. And that's just going to hold that a little bit nicer in place for me. So well, it's stuck to my finger. Get well soon. Look at how beautiful and shiny that is. I think that one looks lovely, and it doesn't need any more embellishments to pop it up any further. There we go. Let's stick our white inside. Not sure where I put that guy. I had a piece of white. There it is. Let's glue it on the inside, and it's ready to go. Hi, Mary. Thank you. Yeah, so these are ones that I have done for this month's creative challenge with my team. I post a layout, a theme, a color combo, something like that on my site, and then I do a draw randomly from among those who play along and post their cards. Usually it's a stamp set, so that they can have a nice reward for their creativity and for sharing with others. So that was this month's layout. So this is my original card that the team saw. This is the Lovely in Linen DSP with the pale papaya colors, and this piece was embossed with the Splatters embossing folder and some, can't see them, they're nice understated classic matte dots. Then tonight I did one with Rustic Harvest and beautiful colors of fall for an anniversary card. And here are the same ones with the Rustic Harvest paper, only it's the back side and it is the black and white sides. And we did a little coloring here with watercolor pencils, used a blender pen to smooth them out. And that's how that one turned out. A little get well soon card. And finally, this beauty with the Splendid Day DSP open leaf trinket and just some beautiful fresh freesia. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I'll post pictures so you can see these guys and a link to the supplies list. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday with What's Up Wednesday edition. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Brenda.